it starts a very negative circle of incentives of more spending, very risk-averse bureaucrats, and no one wants to be decisive. There's no patent attitude of we win, you lose. Lead follower, get the hell out of the way. That's
right.
Those kind of officers are drummed out of the military. Exactly.
That was Patton's favorite quote, and they took care of him, didn't they? So, Erik, I have here a Apple iPhone. I'll admit it, I'm part of the problem. So tell me, I am a privacy hawk. I thought that it was close to constitutional betrayal that Mike Johnson and Republicans passed the FISA bill. You can agree or disagree with that on Erik. I'm guessing you agree. Why should I get the unplugged phone? Why is this phone not a smart decision for Charlie Kirk, who loves privacy and is under constant attack from the regime?
The amount of data that private vendors that were collecting it for advertising, really before smartphones, started to make available to the government. And then the government had a program called Total Informational Awareness, which ended up getting shut down, supposedly, by some privacy advocates in Congress. But really, nothing was shut down. It just went to the NSA, which funded all the programs for a massive data collection. And then at the same time, the private sector starts collecting all of this data that starts coming off of smartphones. And so really, it created an entire industry called surveillance capitalism, which allows everything that comes off your phone. And so there's an advertising ID that's built into the code of your iPhone or Google Mobile Services, which runs on every Android. And that ad ID interacts with all the apps, and it serves to collect where you go, what you buy, who you call, what you browse. It can turn on the microphone, the camera, the GPS of that phone, and it just gives constant electronic exhaust. We actually did a comparison between our unplugged phone and the other two guys' competitive products. And the other guy's phone seemed to wake up in the middle of the night and start sending up to 50 megabytes of data in the middle of the night, like 2, 3 a.m. They're kind of phoning home to the mothership, reporting on all you've done for the day. I've had so many people I've talked to say that, yes, they can relate to this problem because they actually were talking to their wife in the bedroom about needing a new mattress. And the next day they're getting advertising for a new mattress, which means their phone was listening to them in the bedroom. Imagine the ramifications of that. So this phone, the unplugged phone, was built as a response really after the 2020 election and all the nonsense around big tech, censoring certain voices, throwing people off app stores. And we had a tech team together already that said, to hell with this, we're not going to change big tech by complaining about it or whining. We have to compete. And so we built a completely independent phone platform outside of the Google and Apple universe that is, it's our hardware, our operating system, and it has no advertising ID, and it blocks your apps sitting on your phone from collecting and exporting any of your personal data. This phone actually has a privacy center, which is effectively a firewall, hard settings where you can block off the Bluetooth or the Wi-Fi or the camera or the microphone or whatever it is. And the default of this phone is no. And you have to go through all kinds of settings which allow an app, if you're going to share your position, if you're trying to navigate. But then when you turn it back off, it's really off. The problem with your iPhone or your Google Mobile Services phone is even if you turn it to airplane mode or if you're trying to turn it off, it's still on. It's still pinging towers. It's still trying to hit Wi-Fi, building a digital breadcrumb trail, constantly collecting data on you because that is their model, because that's how they use it to build a very, very specific electronic data detail on you so they can pinpoint advertising and sell you more effectively. Remember, if you're not paying for something, you're not the customer, you're the product. And so this surveillance capitalism model has allowed big tech to aggregate the comings and goings of everyone in America. And we decided to do something about it to make that stop. A little kid, by the time they reach the age of 13 in America, has had 72 million data points collected on them by big tech. So in an era of AI, that gets pretty scary. And so this phone prevents that. And so going to FISA, this massive FISA extension, which never should have been passed, is basically the Bureau and the federal agencies got sick of being a little, beaten up when they go to Congress for buying all this consumer data from big tech. So now they passed a law passed by a lot of Republicans even, that not only do they not have to get a warrant, digital data, and they can order it be turned over without a warrant and without probable cause. Basically, if any federal agency, any hyper-partisan federal agent wants to do a deep dive on you just as a fishing expedition, they can. And so they can literally dig into every aspect of your life. Again, where you go, what you buy, who you call, what you browse. And it's a level of intelligence collection that even the Stasi, the most effective, scary, communist era surveillance state security apparatus in East Germany, this allows big tech and our government to collect 1,000 times more data than they ever could. And it's really frightening. So the unplugged phone is the answer to that.
It's unplugged.com. You said there's a special code for our audience. Is that right, Erik?
Charlie Kirk.
Okay, that's easy. I like it. Unplugged.com. I'm getting one. So Erik, let me first just emphasize the new FISA bill. Did it make it easier or harder for the government to harvest this intimate data? Because if we're honest, this is not a phone. This is now an attachment of our being. I don't like that. This is now, if you lock a 19-year-old Turning Point activist in a room without their phone, they'll start hitting the table almost compulsively. It's almost it's an extension of who they are. The FISA bill, break it down for us. Win, loss, what's going on?
Oh, it's an extraordinary loss. It is an egregious assault on the First and the Fourth Amendments. If you think about the first four amendments of the Constitution, the first, right, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association. The Second Amendment, we love, guarantees the first. What was the Third Amendment? It was about privacy. It was to stop
soldiers.
Ordering soldiers, exactly. And the Fourth Amendment was to prevent unlawful search of your stuff. But now this FISA bill makes it possible for any federal agency to ask any of your personal data, your travel, your medicines, your voice notes, your pictures that you send, anything that can be turned over is now harvested and can be reviewed by a federal agent without any probable cause whatsoever. Mark Zuckerberg paid $20 billion for WhatsApp. Why? Because it collects every bit of picture, voice note, video, message that you pass through it, and it's analyzed to hyper-target you for advertising. Now you just made that completely available to the federal government as well. And if you're comfortable with Mark Zuckerberg and Comey, the former FBI director or the current one, sitting on your nightstand listening to every bit of your conversations at night, that's what this is, and that's what the unplugged phone prevents.
So I love this, by the way. Let me ask you a not so hypothetical. So we're doing a lot of Turning Point action, try to get Donald Trump reelected. We have meetings where we talk about ballot chasing and what neighborhoods we're hitting. If I sit in a room with Tyler Boyer, who is under indictment for being an alternate elector, so the government has probable cause, and I have my phone sitting right there on the table as I'm going through a strategy session talking about what neighborhoods and precincts, is it conceivable that the government is listening and harvesting that private conversation? Do we have evidence that such harvesting is occurring?
Well, we know that big tech is listening because that's their model of surveillance capitalism, because the apps that are those free apps that are sitting on your phone, that's part of their terms of service agreement that you agreed to when you downloaded that app, is yes, they're going to collect and own all that data. And so the fact that a company can do that means the government can do that without a warrant or without any probable cause. So yes, the answer is 100% yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you destroy political dissident movements, is that a bunch of people are sitting around a table and they're talking about ways to win an election, and big tech is harvesting and maybe sending it back to the New York Times or whatever. It's unplugged.com. Just from an entrepreneurial standpoint, Erik, this is an unbelievable accomplishment. How are you able to even get the hardware? It's a beautiful looking phone. It works nice. How is this possible? I thought only a multi-trillion-dollar company could do this.
Well, we decided to take on not one but two multi-trillion-dollar companies because, why not pick a fight? But the phone is made in Indonesia at a Singaporean-run facility, and the whole supply chain for this comes not from China. It's our code, and it's our answer for free people to be able to communicate freely and securely, because I think that's it's prerequisite to preserve our republic. We have to be able to communicate. In the next segment, we'll talk about our messenger, which is a secure creates a secure encrypted tunnel.
Well, this is what's so important,
so
is that there's no way that the cell phone towers can access what is happening in the unplugged messenger. And so Erik is an entrepreneur. He is a problem solver. I love it. It's unplugged.com. Use promo code Charlie Kirk. I'm ordering one. I'm getting one on the way here, Erik. Help me understand. I'm an Apple. I'm obsessed with Apple products. I have my Apple laptop here. How do I wean off of it? You guys developed a beautiful product, and also talk about the messenger, all the sorts of details there. Erik Prince.
Look, Apple has their own store. We have our own store. We don't have as many apps as they do, but you can still get your music, your podcasts, your access to that kind of entertainment via Spotify or other streaming services. You can navigate, you can bank, you can book your travel with it. But look, Apple's built up a hell of the ecosystem to their credit, but they're making tens of billions of dollars. For all this talk about Apple saying, oh, we're honoring privacy. No, what they're doing is they're collecting all that user data now, and they will sell it themselves. This is why they predict in their financial reporting that their ad-based revenue is now going to grow to $30 and $40 billion a year, monetizing you.
$30 to $40 billion a year. Do you keep any of the data unplugged? I mean, how do you, where's your data count?
No, so we make money by selling a phone, and at month 13, you pay us $12 a month as a user fee because we're not collecting and selling your data. Big Tech sells about $180 worth of your data every year. That's their recurring revenue model, but we don't do that. So you buy the phone for $989. At month 13, you have to pay $12 a month. And obviously, you have to buy data service for the phone from Patriot Mobile or from T-Mobile or AT&T. But that's all you need. And with that comes a very, very potent VPN, which protects and encrypts your data if you connect to a Wi-Fi, a very secure messenger, and of course, our entire operating system and store. An important thing about our messenger is when you generate a call, if you use an app like Signal, it's pretty good, but you use the same key you got when you downloaded it. When you make a call with Unplugged, it takes a few seconds to connect because it's my handset connecting to your handset, and it's generating a new encrypted tunnel, a new encryption key every call. And if someone takes your phone,
can the FBI listen to that? Sorry to interrupt. Can the FBI listen to that?
Each message is encrypted with its unique encryption key, and if some overzealous officer or criminal comes to you and says, "Give me your phone. I'm here to inspect your messages," we have a dump feature called the Clear Pin Data Code, which you unlock the messenger with that code, and it wipes it. It hard resets the phone instantaneously. So this phone is designed for free men to communicate freely and to protect themselves and to protect their very, very important First and Fourth Amendment rights.
Well, I love that. And so the bad guys are mining data. Why has no one ever done this before? Is it just too big of an effort? Just people thought it was a space that can't be disrupted? And also, how is it going? Are you guys selling phones?
We are selling phones like crazy. We did 500 phones last fall as a beta test and let those move around the world to test. It's a GSM based, and our antennas work on everything from 2G, the most basic, up to, of course, 5G. Very potent camera. It's really comparable in speed, storage, camera quality to what the big guys are selling. But the difference is this phone doesn't collect and export your data. And we just got 10,000 units in, and we're about half through that inventory already, and we're reordering soon. So yes, when you order a phone now, you'll have it in about 2 days.
I love it. I'm enthusiastically behind it, Erik. Okay, Erik, let's just summarize this. Unplug.com. Also, anything else you're working on? Final messages here on Memorial Day.
Look, I just want to say on Memorial Day, it's not enough to say thank you to your service. Thank you for your service to a vet. You need to demand better performance from our politicians. That the people that go out and sacrifice blood and treasure and their health, their best years of their lives to serve their country, they deserve from us our devotion to get them better leadership. So that they're going to be sent into battle, that they're there to win. We leave the lawyers at home, and we stop this endless loop of insanity of half-assed measures of going to war.
I couldn't agree more. Our best in our country deserve better than these craven politicians. Erik, God bless you for your great service and your leadership. It is unplug.com, promo code Charlie Kirk. Erik, thanks so much. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. Thanks so much for listening, and God bless.
For more on many of these stories and news you can trust, go to charliekirk.com.
They're Trump's most diehard fans in the front row at every Trump rally.
You had to love the United States of America. You had to support Mr. Donald Trump's re-election.
Trump's Front Row Joes is the new 2-part documentary offering the first inside look at the men and women standing shoulder to shoulder with Trump in the greatest political movement in American history.
The kind of basis for all the rallies, there's like dead fans.
Like-minded people following their hero all around the country, exhausting their bank accounts, camping out for days in the freezing cold and scorching heat to support Trump's re-election and make America great again.
The Front Row Joes are very successful, incredible people.
Trump's Front Row Joes, from executive producer Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary and communications director for President Donald J. Trump.
Friendships I've made over the years as a Front Row Joe, it's probably the best part of it.
Don't miss Trump's Front Row Joes. Watch it now. Go to salemnow.com. salemnow.com.
Incredible people.
Trump's Front Row Joes.
there were 120,000 more registered Republicans than Democrats in the state of Arizona. That's good. That was 2020. As of this morning, we just pulled the latest numbers. You guys ready for this? According to the Arizona Secretary of State website, by the way, we don't like Adrian Fontes, right? We're not fans of him. That's no good. But he gave us the numbers. There are now 242,777 more registered Republicans than Democrats in the state of Arizona. We have increased the amount of registered Republicans by 120,000 registered voters, and it is growing, and it involves every single one of you. And so Brett and Lacey said it beautifully before. You take out your phone and you download the Turning Point Action app. And you no longer say, I hope that things are going to go well in November. No. You are going to make things go well in November. You're going to use your agency given to you by God. You're going to knock on doors even when you don't feel like it. You're going to talk to your relative that's like, I don't feel like voting. You're going to say, you better never complain about high grocery prices again. You better not complain about the crime happening in Scottsdale. You better not complain about how I can't buy a home. You better not complain about how everything's getting more expensive. And it's very important you connect the dots, because what Joe Biden is doing is not an accident. What the Democrats are doing is a deliberate plan of destruction against the United States of America. This is not that Joe Biden does not, he doesn't really know where he is, but that's a separate issue. His team knows what they're doing. They hate the country. They have bitterness for this republic. And they are making intentional steps to ruin it. In the 1970s, there were two